Okay, in this video, we're going to cover the 95 and 9608 desk set, and they're a little bit different than if you already viewed the 9620C and 9640 video. So as you can see, the display is in black and white, for one, not color. You still have your circle keypad with your soft keys. That's pretty common with all the phones. The difference being is that these phones are limited to stay within the four walls of your office, whereas the 9620C and 9640 has the capability to go home and just plug into a basic internet connection. So black and white and limited to the four walls of your office. The digital and IP really depends on what your current environment is like. So you probably got 90% of the time we do digital because we don't have to add expensive networking hardware such as power over Ethernet data switches, and we don't have to have higher dollar data engineers come in and do programming to that data environment, which can add significantly to your cost. And you don't have to worry about voice over IP call quality issues with a digital phone. But they do make it in a digital and a voice over IP flavor. So if you have an existing hosted telephone system or voice over IP, then we probably would have put in the 9608, which is the IP one, instead of the 9508, which is the digital one, because you already were set up for that. All right, so I'm just going to kind of point out the features again, and then I'll zoom in on the soft keys and the display, and we'll actually start executing some of the features. But for right now, if you already looked at the 9620C training video, you're going to see a lot of similarities. So again, the difference being here is you have these soft keys up on the left and right hand side of the display, denoting whatever item is just to the right of it or just to the left of it. By hitting that button, you're going to be executing whatever feature that is. So we'll cover that when we zoom in a little bit closer. So that is one of the differences, because if you remember, I can also scroll down and hit OK, which is how I had to do it on the 9620C voice over IP telephone. But here I could simply just touch for quicker access. I still have my message waiting light here, and it's still a 360-degree view, so I can see it from the back side of this telephone. So if my desk is set up where I walk by my office and I want to look and see if I have any voicemails, I could see it if my phone is showing me the back side of my telephone. Okay, and to the right, I still have my home screen, which takes my cursor right back up to the top left-hand corner, which is my first call appearance. So if I'm on page 3, and you'll see pages when we zoom in, and I want to get back to the home screen, I just hit that phone button and it takes me back no matter where I'm at, voice messaging, so on and so forth, right back to the home screen. I still have my contacts button. So if I hit contacts and I can type in, I'll type in J-O-S, and now you can see Josh Englert. I can still just pick it up. It'll automatically start dialing Josh Englert. Or if I typed in contacts, because nobody knows phone numbers anymore, I just know names, right? J-O-S. I can click OK. I can click call. There's multiple ways to get a hold of the person. So if I'm looking up Corinne, I'd hit clear, and I'd hit C-O. And as I'm doing this, it's eliminating the names that don't have a C or an O in them. I got Bob Corson, I got Copy Room, I got Corinne. I could just scroll down to Corinne. Or if I was not, I could keep typing C-O-R. So now I've got Copy Room and Corinne left. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm almost eliminating it down to that person. So contacts is we all figured out contacts on our smartphones and mobile phones, and now it's available on your desk phone. The home button, home is basically your menu button. It takes you down. Again, if I want to go down to screen and sound, which everyone loves to go to screen and sound, and I want to set up a personal ringing, I can see an arrow and I'm on ringing tone number 1. I'm going to scroll to the right, and now I got a second ringing tone. There's my third, my fourth, my fifth, sixth, and then it's back to 1. So I'm going to leave it on 1 in this case. I hit save, and now I hit exit, or I could have hit phone, and it would have taken me back to my home screen. So anyway, home on this phone is the same as menu on the 9620C. History is my call log. So it's called call log. I don't know why they changed the name, but history and call log are the same thing. So you can see I got missed calls. I got a left and right arrow. I can hit the left or the right button. When I hit the right button or left, it changes it. Now I got incoming calls, outgoing calls, all calls, and back to missed calls. And again, I can scroll down to any of the numbers. I find one on there. I simply pick it up, and it auto dials for me that number. So that's built in. Headset button, speakerphone, mute, volume up and down. So very similar to the 9620C if you looked at that, but all the same features. Got my dial pad, of course, is all built in. So now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Pick it up just a little bit here. And you can see the soft keys. You can't see my little circle dial pad that's underneath it, but I got the up, down, left, right arrow with the OK button in the middle if you're following along while you're watching this. And on the 96 and 9508s, I got 3 pages of 8. So what I mean by that is I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 one-touch features. If I hit the right arrow, now I got page 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 features. Page 3. 1, 2, 3, and I got the rest of them blank, but I could fill up another 8 features, and I hit the right arrow again, and it goes back to page 1. So really, the 9608 is a 24-button telephone, and it doesn't have to be this big, huge footprint of a telephone. It keeps it small and concise, but still yet very powerful. This is definitely an executive telephone. On that, I got my first call, second, and third call appearance. So if I was to call this one, which is 303-951-6761, and I'll just grab my cell phone to do that. And I call 303-951-6761, call. Oh, not getting a signal in here, sorry. And you probably saw this, but that's where I can, I'll just call from my other telephone. There it is ringing. I'm going to go ahead and answer. And get that one off mute. And you can see my first call appearance now has red and green lights on it. Okay. Just scroll this a little bit that way. There we go. And Jeff Myers called in because it has me on the system. And I could put this caller on hold. And now it automatically goes to my next call appearance. I hit 9303, right? And I'm calling out. Or I can drop, right? Because my soft keys become whatever I have going on. So in this case, I want to scroll back up to the Jeff Myers phone call. And if you look, I can conference somebody on. I could transfer this caller, all utilizing my soft keys. Or I can connect. Right now I'm not connected. So I'm going to connect back with them. So they're not on hold anymore. I can put them back on hold. Again, I can conference someone on, I can transfer them, and of course drop them. Or I can simply hang up to drop them as well. So the smart keys become whatever is going on at that time. And as an example, if I am on the conference call, I would be able to hit conference, and now all the features that are available to conference, such as add a user, drop a user, would be presented to me on those soft keys. So that gives me less buttons that I have to use. It's intuitive enough to know whatever I'm doing to present to me options for that feature that's going on at that time. So I'm going to hang up on that. And now I'm going to scroll down and I'll take you through, obviously, 3 call appearances, which means I'm going to have 3 calls going at the same time. Access main button, again, we'll go through that. And if you've seen the 9620C, it does the same thing on that. That is where our main receptionist's phone rings. If she does not answer in 3 rings, our 2 backup receptionist rings for 3 more rings. If they don't answer, now it's been a total of 6 rings. It rings an overhead bell in our main office area. Everybody can hear that overhead bell. People are instructed to scroll down to Access Main, click OK or Select, and now they can answer the main line for us. That way no caller has to go through an excessive amount of rings. I scroll down again. Whoops. There we go. I'm on Park 1. Park 1, 2, and 3, so that's the park and pickup feature. If you're not familiar, most phone systems do have this. I answer a call and they say they'd like to speak with somebody. Instead of just transferring to their desk because they're not there, they're down the hall in a conference room or the warehouse or somewhere, I physically have to go find them. I'm going to hit park while I'm talking to that caller. I'm going to go find that person. They can pick up any other phone in the office, hit that same Park 1, 2, or 3. You might even hear pages. Brian Thomas, if you're in the building, you have a call on Park 2, Brian Thomas, Park 2. He can go to any phone, scroll down to Park 2, click OK, or Select, and now he is now connected to that caller. So park and pickup is very, very functional in large office environments. Page, we can actually set up multiple paging groups. In our office, we just have one, which is Page All. If I hit Page All, I'd hit Select, and now my voice is going to be heard over every single speakerphone that's available within my office. So if I'm looking for somebody, paging comes in handy, and I don't have speakers, overhead speakers mounted in my ceilings. I just have the speakers on everybody's telephones. I can do a page now, and everyone can hear me. I could say, hey, everybody, we have a visitor coming into the office in 5 minutes. Make sure your workspace is nice and clean and tidy. I could page somebody that needs to pick up a phone call. Hey, Corinne, if you're in the office, you have a call on Park 2, Corinne, Park 2. I could page anything I need to let everybody know instantaneously. I could set up different paging groups. If your office is structured in a geography that is, maybe it's an upstairs and a downstairs area. Upstairs is salespeople, downstairs is technicians. Maybe you only need to page the salespeople. You can set up a page sales group, a page technician group, so on and so forth. And I believe you can have up to 8 different groups. I'm going to hit to the right, and now I'm on page 2. And you can see I got 20, and that's not on. If I hit that button, it's not programmed. See, it says feature denied. This is our demo phone in our demo room. This is not an actual user's phone, but it would allow me to hit a phone number I want to twin my calls to. And again, we do have a video on mobile twinning, but that is where your cell phone and your desk phone become one. So when someone calls you, your desk phone and cell phone ring. You can also transfer. You can also make outbound calls from your cell phone using the first call appearance on your desk phone to present the caller ID of your office phone number, not your cell phone number. So it has multiple uses, but I'm going to exit out of twinning. If twinning was on, it would have a red light on next to it, and then I can hit that button again and turn it off. Voicemail, again, I have my voice messaging light on my keypad right there, but I can also program a voicemail button to get to the same thing there. It's kind of redundant. I think for the demo phone, they just wanted to show you could do that. Send all calls. That's like do not disturb. All my calls will go to my coverage path, whether that's a voicemail box or maybe a backup administrative assistant or a group of phones that is covering for me if I don't answer my phone, such as if I'm in a sales group or not. So if I hit send all calls, my phone won't ring. If someone calls, it goes right to my coverage path immediately. So again, most common one is voicemail. It would go right to my voicemail box. I would hit send all calls if I'm in a meeting. I would hit send all calls if I got a project that's due and I don't want to be disturbed, so on and so forth. Hot desking is kind of nice. I can hit hot desking feature, and it allows me to log into this phone. So I'm going to hit 6010. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. And now this is my telephone. So all the features and voicemail and everything just became on this telephone. Hot desking is very nice when you have maybe only 10 workspaces in your office for 20 people, and those 20 people are coming in and out of your office quite frequently. Maybe they have to come in. It's a service technician. He sits down for an hour, returns a couple of phone calls, makes a couple of calls, receives a couple, and then he's back out in his service van servicing again. So there was no reason to buy 20 telephones for the most amount of people you'd ever have in your office is 8 to 10 at one time. So hot desking allows everybody to have their own presence on your system with a reduced amount of phones. So I'm going to hit the page to the right. Hot desking. And I'll go back to 6761. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. And now it is extension 6761 again, which you can see right up there. The next thing that we're going to scroll to is call listen. And again, this is service observing. Call listen allows me, if it's programmed on my phone, I would hit the call listen button. I would enter in the extension number that I want to listen to. I'm going to listen to Jeff Myers' extension, and I'm going to click OK. And now if Jeff's on the phone, I can hear what he's telling my customers. Maybe it's a new employee for training purposes, so on and so forth. I'm going to exit out. It's actually not allowing me to listen to Jeff's phone calls, which is my phone, obviously. But I have to have the ability through my administrator to program, A, if this feature is on my telephone, B, which extensions I'm allowed to listen to. So I can't just listen to anybody's. The administrator has to program in that, nope, I can only listen to these 3 people because they're all new employees. And the manager here said that I'm allowed to listen for training and coaching purposes. And once I'm listening, if that was an extension I could listen to, it would present a series of options for me on these soft keys. In other words, I would be able to do one of 3 things. One, while I'm listening, I can whisper into that phone call, and only my employee would hear me. The customer would not. So I might say something like, hey, don't forget to mention that we got a sale on carpet cleaning this month for 10% off on anybody that does 5 or more rooms. So now the agent can go, oh, and ma'am, since you have 5 or more rooms, we do have 10% off through the month of March. So you might want to sign up this month rather than next month, and that would be, in your case, a $30 savings. So instead of $300, it would be $270, and that would be all 5 rooms. In other words, it allows you to coach new employees. The next option that you would get would be the barge in, and that is where you barge into the phone call, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Lisa's manager. I've been listening to this phone call for training purposes, and I want to thank you for being a customer with us for the last 10 years. I am going to go ahead and knock 20% off that sale for you since you've done so much carpet cleaning with us. And I'm just making this up as an example because it could be used multiple ways within your business. The third thing I could do is barge in and drop. So I'll actually drop off my employee and I'll barge into the phone call and take over this phone call. So this would be used in a scenario where all of a sudden one of your employees start getting disgruntled with the customer. You would hit barge in and drop. You'd let the customer know that the employee is no longer connected on this phone call. You're the manager, and you heard what was going on, and it was a very disgruntled situation. Sorry that happened. That is not our normal practice here at ABC Company. And now you have a shot at retaining that customer, and it gives you that type of control. So call listen's a really, really great feature for using for training purposes. Call record, and this would be set up for ad hoc call recording. Of course, if you have chronic call, we probably set it up where all calls are recorded, or all inbound or outbound calls, but we pre-programmed it where you wouldn't actually have to hit a button. But if you don't have chronic call and you're just doing ad hoc or manual call records, you only want to record a phone call when you deem it necessary. You're talking to somebody and it's a liability situation starting to be produced, and you go, you know what? Think to yourself, I might want to go ahead and record this one. Well, if you're in one of the, out of the 50 states, 12 of them, both parties have to know the call's being recorded. So you just have to simply announce it. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and record this phone call. If that's a problem, you can hang up, but if not, I'd like to continue this conversation. But I would like to have a copy of it when we get done. If you're not in one of those 12 states, the majority of us, there are 38 others, only one party has to know the call's being recorded, and that's yourself. So you don't even have to announce it. There's no beeps played, anything of that nature. You simply hit the call record button, and the call is now being recorded. When you hang up and you finish the phone call, our engineers should have it programmed to be emailed to you. It's not emailed as text. It is emailed as an audio file attachment called a WAV file. And but now you can store it. You can email it off to other people. Very, very nice feature. All right, and after call record, we have visual voice. Visual voice is visual voice messaging. It presents a series of options while you're listening to voicemails or checking them. You can see in this case, I have 2 new messages, 0 old, and 1 saved. So if I hit OK, I can see that. New, 2, old, 0, saved, 1. Right? And that allows me to, and then if I'm listening to the 2 new messages, I click OK. I actually get the caller ID information of when the voicemail came in. It's so much better than just listening through your handset only. So visual voicemail is a very nice feature. Whoops, too far there. I got a directory button again, but I have that under my contacts on my hard-coded button. But that would be for, there is a 9504 set that doesn't have as many hard-coded buttons. We can actually program that on there for you. Call forward, again, if I'm on vacation, and maybe I don't want my calls going into a voicemail box. It's important to me that my calls are answered live by somebody if I'm not available. So now I forward my phone for the week I'm on vacation to an individual in my office that's been instructed to, hey, while I'm on vacation, you cover for me. When you go on vacation, I cover for you. And that way we increase our customer service here. So that does give me that capability. Priority call, I can actually click priority call and enter in a phone number. It says if my phone is in do not disturb, everyone goes to voicemail or my coverage path, except for this priority call phone number. Maybe it's my babysitter, my child's cell phone number, or my wife's number. I want to let them through. So, and then VoIP My Biz service. These are where we put this on everybody's phone, and it actually rings our service department. And this is old because this has our branding from a few months ago. Obviously now it's Competitive Business Tools. But if you hit that button, it would ring a direct line right to our service desk, and you can call in a service ticket. There's more or less a speed dial we can program. As you can see, we got 4 or 5 blank spots here. I might program in some frequently called numbers that I don't want to have to dial all the time. So I could just scroll over to that button, and it calls my doctor's office or my babysitter's or my wife's cell phone number or whatnot. So, and I hit toggle one more time, and I'm right back to the home page. Again, anytime I'm on any of these pages or within any of the features on the page, so if I'm on hot desking and I'm kind of right, and I go, you know what? I need to get back to the home page. I just hit the home button and it takes me right back to the home page. So again, that's pretty much concludes how to use your 9508 or 9608 desk set. Digital or voice over IP carries the same features. The only difference is one is voice over IP, one's digital. And then on the other voice over IP phone, not this one, you could actually take it home and program it to work from your internet connection at your house and be connected to your corporate phone system. Very nice if you're somebody that works from home part-time or full-time. Thank you very much, and hope you enjoy your new telephone.